Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really simple but incredibly powerful story about a king and his four wives. It's an allegory that I think holds a profound lesson about what really matters in life and, where we choose to place our value.
Let's just start with this thought right here because it perfectly sets the stage for the story we're about to get into. A story that's all about where we look for value and, well, where we ultimately end up finding it.
Okay, so our story kicks off with this incredibly wealthy and powerful king. I mean, this guy had everything he could possibly want. But as he got older and sicker, he started to realize his time was running out. He decided, that's it. I'm going to retreat from the world and dedicate my last days to a spiritual quest.
But here's the thing. He didn't want to go alone. He was really hoping that one of his four wives would come with him on this final, important journey. So he decides to ask them, and he starts with the one he was absolutely sure would say yes.
So the king, he goes to his wives with this, really heartfelt request, but their responses were not at all what he was expecting. This series of rejections is really going to test everything he thought he knew about love and loyalty.
First up, he goes to his fourth and youngest wife. He absolutely adored her, more than anyone. He showered her with jewels, the finest clothes, just every luxury you can imagine. He'd given her everything, so he went to her just full of hope.
But her answer? It was instant. It was cold. A sharp no that left the king completely stunned and, honestly, heartbroken. The one person he loved the most wouldn't even consider it. Ouch.
So, shaken, he moves on to his third wife. Now, he was incredibly proud of her. She was beautiful, graceful, and he loved showing her off to visiting leaders. He thought, okay, surely she'll understand. She'll join me. Wow. Her response was even harsher than the last one. She basically called him crazy and straight up threatened to move on and find a new husband. Just another devastating blow for the king.
Now he's feeling really disheartened, right? So he seeks out his second wife. This was his most trusted advisor, his confidant. She was incredibly intelligent, super wise, and it helped him make countless important decisions for the kingdom.
She was a bit kinder, but her answer was still a no. She couldn't join him on his journey, but she offered him this sort of practical consolation prize. She promised to arrange a magnificent royal funeral for him when the time came. So she'd see him to the very end, but not a step further.
Just as the king is about to lose all hope, feeling totally alone and dejected, he hears this unexpected voice. It's faint, it's weak, but it's calling out to him, offering to join him.
He looks up and he sees his first wife. She looks thin, really unwell, and it hits him with this wave of guilt. He realizes he's basically neglected her for years, always putting his other newer wives first. And yet, despite all those years of neglect, despite being forgotten and not cared for, she was the only one willing to go with him. Her loyalty was absolute, even when his just wasn't.
So here's the big twist. This story isn't really about a king and his four wives. It's a powerful allegory for our own lives and for the choices we all make about what and who we decide to value most. This is where it all clicks into place. The fourth wife, the one the king adored, that represents our body. The third wife is all our possessions, our wealth, our status, our stuff. The second wife, she symbolizes our family and friends. And that first neglected wife, well, that's our soul.
I mean, think about it for a second. So much of our daily energy goes into our appearance, our health, our gadgets, our homes, our careers. We pour all this effort into making them look good, but at the end of life, our body stays behind, and all our possessions get passed on to somebody else. And our relationships, our family and friends, they are absolutely vital. They're so important. But just like that second wife, they can only walk with us so far. They can come with us right up to the very edge, but they can't make that final journey with us.
And this brings us right to the heart of the story, the big takeaway. How important it is to actually listen to your soul, to nurture that most loyal companion, the one we, so often, completely forget about.
The story kind of suggests that our soul is like a gift we get for free. And isn't it true that we often undervalue the things we don't have to pay for? Our soul has been with us from day one. Yet we so often neglect it while we're out there chasing external things, like possessions and validation.
So how do we actually care for our soul? The parable gives us a pretty clear path. First, we just have to acknowledge it's there.
Recognize that our inner self is always with us. Second, we have to listen to it. Pay attention to that gut feeling, that inner voice, especially when making big decisions. And third, we have to nourish it by looking for happiness inside ourselves, not just from what other people think.
Because really, at the end of the day, that inner voice, our soul, is our most powerful guide. It's where real motivation comes from. It is the only part of us that's going to be there from the first day to the very last, and maybe even beyond.
And so, this explainer leaves you with one final and maybe provocative question. As you think about your own life and your own priorities, just ask yourself, which of your 4 wives is getting most of your attention?